Hey Blades fans, welcome back to Hertz Arena for the January 26th meeting between the Everblades and the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. Will Henschel alongside Jake Maurice. And Jake, a big 4-1 win over the Atlanta Gladiators on Wednesday night, taking out the bottom team in the South Division. The Blades moving into a playoff position, but now you got the top dogs in the South coming into the barn for 2 games.
Yeah, but that win Wednesday was one of the more impressive wins by Florida all season. I mean, in the second period, you hold Atlanta to just 1 shot on goal. You're going to do pretty good if you can do that consistently. And consistent was probably the best word to describe Florida in that game. Just a goal in every period, which we talked about on Wednesday was going to be key. Getting lots of shots while limiting their opponent. It was just a strong game all around. There was really no part of the game for Florida that was noticeably lagging in any way. And I'm not sure if it was just getting back on home ice after an emotional series against Savannah, or if it was just that Florida really was riding a wave of momentum and controlled the game through that. Either way, though, if Florida can keep playing like that, they're going to go very far this season.
5-game win streak, a lot to be happy about, but 3 key factors in that game against the Gladiators was the trio of Morrison, Boucher, and Coburn. Morrison, in his return to the Everblades, coming back down from the AHL, scoring 2 goals, and Boucher and Coburn in their Everblades debut, each earning a point.
Yeah, I mean, Morrison, not too shocking. He comes down from the AHL, and we know what to expect from him. I mean, he had a game like this earlier this season when he was with his first stint with the Blades. Now in his first game back, just looks like he hasn't even left with his contributions. But then the other 2, they showed instant chemistry, which isn't something you often see from new guys, right? It usually takes a little bit of time for guys to find line mates they click with. But those 2, Coburn and Boucher, right away showing up on the score sheet. Boucher setting up Coburn for his first goal with the Everblades. And all throughout the game, they were physical, they were strong, and they played well together. They could read the ice and read what the other was going to do, help set up some things for Florida. So really strong debut for those 2. Alongside Cam Morrison having a 3-point game, the new guys coming in and leading the way for Florida was great to see.
Strong offensive game by those 3 especially, but also a really good defensive game end-to-end. Evan Cormier only allowing 1 goal across the night in the second period, and the Blades just really doing a great job of limiting Atlanta's chances to get pucks on net.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, 1 shot against in the second, you're doing pretty good, and Florida was in control throughout the entire game, and it was especially impressive because Florida had the lead for much of that match. And usually when a team has a lead, particularly a multi-goal lead like Florida had, it's very hard to limit shots because the other team starts getting desperate for offense and they just start pouring everything on. But Florida was able to do that and really not give Atlanta a chance to come back in that game. Even when Atlanta got their 1 goal to shave it to a 2-goal deficit, it never really felt like Florida was in danger in that one. And that's because of their steady defensive play matched with Evan Cormier giving his regular solid performance in the crease.
And for the first time in a while now, the Everblades are back in a playoff position. That win against Atlanta bumped them from 5th place to 4th place, now moving a little bit up the ladder after a couple of other South Division teams lost games last night. But Jake, it feels good to be back firmly in the playoff hunt with a couple games in hand, and now you've got the number 1 team in the division here where you can really earn some important points.
Yeah, well, now you're sitting in a playoff spot and you've still got those games in hand, right? It all of a sudden makes it where you needed the games in hand to go your way. But to now you don't, but if they do, you can rise further up. But Greenville, they're the one team that's separated from the pack. They're 12 points up on the Everblades going into this 2-game set, and this is the last 2 times that Florida is going to see Greenville this year. So this is Florida's last chance to take points away and directly gain ground against the Swamp Rabbits. I mean, 12 points is obviously a very tall hill to climb up, but it's possible for sure. I mean, we've seen big rises and falls in the standings in the South Division this year. Just look at Atlanta and Greenville for evidence of that. So you get these 2 points tonight and then again tomorrow, you're 8 points back. That's certainly manageable for the Blades to still keep their hopes of a first place finish in the South Division alive. But either way, the 2 points also could go very far for helping stave off the rest of the pack.
So far, Greenville has 57 points, number 1 team in the South Division, number 2 team in the entire ECHL. So this is definitely, on paper, a pretty scary matchup for the Everblades, but home ice has been a strong part of the Blades game so far this season. They've earned 2 wins against Greenville here at Hertz Arena earlier this year, and definitely looking to continue that momentum tonight.
Yeah, there's a stark contrast. Florida's 2-0 against Greenville at home. 1 for 5 on the road, so you got to use home ice as much as you can, expecting a couple of good crowds tonight at Hertz Arena. And as we know, as we saw on Wednesday, the crowd always a factor to help the guys get some big wins. And Florida at home has recently looked a lot stronger than they did earlier in the season, which has been great to see. And when you're going up against a team like Greenville, every advantage you can get can be paramount to getting a win.
Jake, another point of focus tonight is the new Everblades captain core. Joe Pendenza named the 20th captain in Everblades franchise history, leading the pack of the alternates.
Yeah, and I mean, he was the obvious choice. Fifth-year Everblade, longest tenured member of the club, back-to-back Kelly Cup champion, who's worn an A for each of the last 3 seasons. There was no one else who it could really go to. So big congratulations to Pendenza, as you said, the 20th captain in franchise history, following up Ben Masella from last season. And then 4 players will wear the A. 2 of them at home, Oliver Chow and Logan Lambden, big factors in that Kelly Cup championship win last year. And then Bobo Carpenter and Reese Molick will wear the A's on the road, 2 leaders in the locker room for sure. So a really strong leadership core coming together for Florida, but most importantly, Pendenza getting the C as the right choice for sure.
Looking to sail the ship back into a playoff run. Joe Pendenza at the helm. But Jake, I think it's high time we get into our Griffith Group of Downing Fry Realty 3 keys to the game.
Well, you got to be ready for Greenville to come out hot. They haven't played since Sunday, a nice long rest, and they're a team that's rolling right now, winners of 8 of their last 10, so expect them to start off strong. You want to be physical on them. Guys like Boucher were physical on Wednesday. It was great to see. You want to see him once again bringing that energy to start off the game. Second off is making sure you're strong defensively. Greenville, they've been inconsistent offensively in terms of their shot volume. There have been a few games over that stretch where they had under 20 shots on goal. So even though they have shooting efficiency, if you can reduce their shot volume, certainly would go a long way for Florida getting this win tonight. And then finally, you're back at home. It's a big matchup against the top squad. You got to use the crowd energy as much as you can, particularly at the start when Greenville's probably going to be pushing with fresh legs underneath them. Use the crowd where you can, as much as you can, to help you get this win tonight.
A big matchup teed up tonight here at Hertz Arena. Puck drop between the Everblades and the Greenville Swamp Rapids, slated for 7:30. We'll see you there.